During my second semester in senior high school, I applied and worked at a fast food job. I'm not going to mention which one because I don't want them finding this video. But anyways, I genuinely liked the job, as shocking as it is. The customers are normally super kind because the location of the store was located in a specific area of town, so we normally get nicer customers. I was also lucky and got to work with some classmates that went to the same high school as me. And when I first applied, I figured I would see familiar faces from my school, but I took my chances. Because I was jobless and desperate. Personally, I wouldn't want to work with people who I knew from my school, just because I was afraid I was gonna grow to hate them in case their work might be bad. And before you come for me, I'm a great worker, okay? 90% of the time, you will not catch me on my phone unless I'm calculating something or on break. That's how dedicated I am when working. Yes, even in fast foods. Luckily, I personally knew one of the workers who went to my school. We took a couple classes together and she was always so sweet and happy to see me. Let's call her Gina. While I worked there were two managers who I wasn't so fond of the more I worked there. They just so happened to be the general manager and the assistant manager. Let's call them May and Jess. I will not lie, they are good managers. They genuinely care for the customers and the cleanliness of our work. They were very much by the book. And when I first applied, I filled out that I could only work from Monday to Thursday so that I could do my schoolwork on Fridays and the weekends. And even if it's not for schoolwork, I also just wanted some free days for myself. Plus, they did say on their page that they were and will be flexible towards students, so... And personally, I wouldn't be able to handle working 5+ days while still being underage and in school. But, maybe I'm just weak. After a couple of months of working there, weird things keep happening. Let's start with May. She began to question me a lot. And at first, it was pretty innocent.
Oh, Rain, why can't you work on the weekends again?
Oh, it's because I needed to do my schoolwork. And babysit. For some reason, I froze and threw that in as backup.
Oh, you babysit?
Yeah, I babysit my baby cousins. Which was half true. I babysitted when I could. Then, as time went on, the questions turns to...
So what does your aunt do for a living that you have to babysit?
I don't know why, but I felt weird when May asked me this question. So partly because I was scared, I made up a whole story about how my aunt was a single mother and worked 2 jobs. Obviously, this was a lie, and I did feel bad that I was lying, but I'm not obligated to tell you the truth, so... Anyways, I didn't think much of it. Every now and then, I would mention my younger sister, Joy, to my other coworkers, like how I would need to pick her up from her after-school activities and such.
Rain, you have a sister?
Yeah, I do. A younger sister.
How old is she?
I thought it was weird that she asked. I assumed she was just curious and was asking another innocent question, or because she wanted to know if my sister was at a workable age. So I told her.
Why can't she babysit so you could work more?
Like, what? I was really getting annoyed at this point. I don't see her asking these questions to any of my other coworkers. So I said, oh, well, she takes a lot of honors classes and has after-school practice. It would be really hard on her to add another thing to her plate.
You don't have another sister or family member who could babysit for you?
No. I lied, obviously. I can't imagine what my work schedule would have been like if I did say yes.
So, how old are your baby cousins? Do you get paid when babysitting?
No, because it's family and I don't really mind.
Why is that? You can spend more days here and get better pay.
At this point, I came to the conclusion that they just really wanted me to work more days and wasn't taking any excuse for an answer. And on my fair note, I was already covering 4 night shifts out of the week, but the way that she was implying it is like there's no one else to cover the remaining 3 nights. Which was weird to me. The store basically had a list of designated people who worked day and night shifts, and we were most definitely not lacking any night shift workers, but she questions me and urges me to work more like we are low on staff or something.
So, Rain, what college are you planning to go to?
Oh, I'm going to...
Oh, that's good. It's pretty close by so you can work more.
And literally, the more she nags me to work, the more it makes me not want to. Now let's talk about Jess. Like I said before, she's a good manager. She cares for the customers and our good work, except she could care less about the actual workers themselves. On nights that we close with her, she's really nitpicky and makes the night a whole lot more stressful than it needs to be. I would go into work and look at the printed schedule and internally celebrate when I see that she's not the night shift manager for that night. And no, it's not just that she's nitpicky. She would also say very mean things and would always call us slow workers when we're busy busting our butts off trying to clean up and leave. One busy night, we were behind with closing, so we all knew we were getting out a little bit later than usual. I was working on dishes when she came over my shoulder and peeked on my progress and said,
If I did the dishes, I would already be finished by now.
I stayed silent and shrugged it off. I didn't think much of it, but I guess it got to Gina. That little comment got to her that she felt the need to come over and whisper,
Don't take her word too hard. It's been a stressful night, so she's acting like that. But normally she's very nice.
Another night, a coworker of mine finished cleaning his station early, and because she's in a bad mood, she made him re-clean everything, from wiping, sweeping, to mopping. And while she stated it, she made it loud and clear for everyone to hear before storming off, and all we could do was exchange annoyed and pitied looks while she rampaged over how well she could close better without us. On another note, the store only has one mop bucket, so one night Jess asked me to mop the dining room floor and she'll do the kitchen floor later. So I filled up the bucket and head out. And just as I was about to finish, she comes out yelling,
Rain, what's taking so long? My God, hurry!
This one other night, we were behind with closing and we were taking the dishes back a little bit late. That closing shift was with Jess, another shift manager, we'll call her Emily, who was a cook that night, and me. I was put on dish duty. Jess, who was the closing manager that night, helped me stock the cashier area, and when I was done, she came over and told me that all that was left to do was to mop the dining room floor and stock lids for cups. And I thought to myself, since mopping takes a while, I'll do it first, get that out of the way, and stock lids later. And so I mopped the dining room floor and had one little corner left to mop when I heard Jess yell out,
Oh my God, Rain, hurry up! I want to go home!
And obviously she said it way meaner than I can impersonate. And that night, there was just something about the way that she said it that made me upset. I quickly mopped that little corner and took the mop bucket back to the kitchen. My head was low and I was on the verge of tears, and as I was bringing it back, I noticed the lids were stocked for me. I assumed it was Jess who stocked it, and that was probably why she got mad, simply because I was not fast enough. But at that same moment, I was pissed. If you wanted to go home, then be my guest. The door is right there. And in that workplace, the last person to exit the building when closing has to be a manager because they have the key. Even if she left, it wouldn't be a problem because another shift manager, Emily, was also working that night. We clocked out and we headed out the doors, and I quickly headed to my car first. I was annoyed and pissed. I started my car and didn't hesitate to wait a second to say bye or goodnight. I went straight home crying. I had to wait in my car for a good 10 minutes to try and calm down before I went inside just so my family wouldn't worry. But when I got in, I just broke down and told them everything. I normally take criticism well, but that night was my last straw. It was like no matter how fast or good of a worker we are, it won't be enough for her. She'll find any excuse to yell at her employees. Sometime that week or the week after, I texted May to put in my 2 weeks. Yeah, I could have just quit, but I guess I'm too nice. I also found out that Gina, including a couple of other coworkers, were leaving as well. On my last couple days after we locked up the building and was about to leave, Jess asked to speak with me alone and pulled me aside. I already knew where this was going, and she had the audacity to ask me,
What's making you leave? Did someone piss you off?
Like, yes, you did. That's why I'm leaving. I responded with, no, I found a better opportunity elsewhere. I get that being a fast food manager can be stressful. Working in any fast food or customer service job is stressful. But that shouldn't be an excuse to lash out your stress, anger to your employees, and belittle them. Everyone has something that's going on outside of work as well, and they don't need any minimum wage bullshit to be their cherry on top. And maybe, just maybe, I'm being overdramatic and saw all of this the wrong way. And this wasn't all that happened. They were the major points as to why I left that place. And I'm glad that I did.